Hey y'all, so it's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Joseline's Cabaret, Texas, Season 1, Episode 2 review. So we pick up where we left off last week with Danny putting Wet Wet in a headlock from behind and slamming her to the ground. Baby, I didn't know if I was watching Zeus or USA channel watching WWE, okay? It was crazy. So security ends up pulling them apart for each other. Then Wet Wet and Andrea go again. This is their third round. And the third round, I would say that Andrea won that one. Joseline then finally steps in and makes them stop fighting and makes them hug it out. They cheers each other. They was like, look, you did your big one. I did my big one. It's a wrap now. Like, we ain't got no more beef with each other, which was crazy to me. Okay. Here go Raven in her confessional talking about I wasn't trying to have no smoke with nobody because I had PTSD from the concrete. I gotta say, Raven be cracking me up. She be doing some funny stuff. Had that girl wig on, getting all up in the camera with it. I'm like, girl, can you take this seriously? Because you know you're going to end up pissing Joseline off. So Joseline tells Andrea and Danny, she says, go clean yourself up and wash your feet. The fact that she got to tell grown women to go wash their feet, honey, it's just too much for me. It's just too much. And I agree, like, go take a bath because you've been out here wrestling and rolling around on a dang on ground and stuff with your booty cheeks out. I know a rock or a pebble then got up in there, like, gross. As Andrea is walking to go inside the house, she notices that one of the new girls named Isis is holding her wig. Now, Isis in her confessional was saying that she was saying that the wig stank. So I don't know if Andrea heard her already talking about her wig or she just saw her holding her wig and didn't like it. But regardless, as she was walking by, she snatches her wig out of Isis' hands. And Isis was like, hold up, I ain't wet. She was like, I'll dog walk you, bitch. Just like that. So they get to going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Andrea finally goes inside the house or whatever, but Isis lets it be known right off rip she is with the shits pretty much. Neek, which is a new girl, and Diamond have words when they're talking to Joseline about, you know, what they can bring to the show, what they're going to bring to the cabaret and how they're better than than the OGs. And Diamond was basically like, you ain't better than me. I ain't worried, da-da-da-da-da. So then a new girl by the name of Chinks, who you see on the screen, comes out of nowhere and says to another newbie by the name of Lexi Gold, we got another Lexi in the house. So she says, so we ain't got no problems no more. And so Lexi was looking like, you talking to me? She was like, I knew this was going to start this. I knew it. Lexi Gold in her confessional explains, this is her words, not mine. My who I've been with had a couple of hoes. A lot of just wanted to get some gain from him, so she had to pay. But that was 3 years ago. Why are we still reliving some old club shit? Basically, aka my okay, brought her into the stable. She was having to give him that money, and from that, I don't know where the animosity comes from because she just says that was 3 years ago. So I don't know what the girl would be mad about based off of Lexi's explanation. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't add to anything, which leads me to believe y'all just arguing over this man. Okay. He got both of y'all mind and y'all out here acting the fool over a pump, which is ridiculous. So Lexi Gold says $20,000. My spent your money, bitch. So apparently Chinks had made this $20,000. And Chinks says, no, he was tricking off your money to me. So once again, y'all just basically arguing over man. Y'all arguing over a man that both of y'all dealt with. Like, but at the end of the day, y'all both look stupid because y'all work for him. He ain't y'all man. Y'all are his employees. Y'all out here making money to give to him. Y'all both sound stupid. What is wrong with y'all? Even Joseline was like, who still have a Like what? Like who in this world still allows somebody to them? That is crazy. So another newbie, her name is Fetish. She says she know both of them because she work at the club with them and she know the real true tea on what's going on, right? So they end up arguing, going back and forth, and then they was like, forget it, we about to square up. So they square up to fight, y'all. Now, mind you, these two big body Benzes, okay? These two got some meat on their bones. So they go heads up, right? And I felt like the first round Chinks won. I felt like she got more off on Lexi. Lexi lip was busted the first go around. Joseline tells them to stop and like, y'all need to chill. Like, this is the first night. Like, what is going on? She says that, I'm going to keep all the girls tonight because I got a pool party tomorrow. But after that, I'm going to have to eliminate some of you girls. The next day, Joseline and Ballistic head to the house. They get to the house and it is a beautiful estate. I want to say this is like one of the best houses that Zeus has ever rented out for a show. It was absolutely stunning. Everything was new, updated. The kitchen was beautiful, beautiful marble island, living room, dining room. Like, it was gorgeous. I mean, stunning. And the good thing about it is they weren't close to any neighbors. So if there was some yelling and stuff going on, it's going to be kind of hard for the neighbors to hear if anything was going on outside, like a fight or anything like that, right? But the house was fantastic. I must say, I don't think that Natalie has ever gotten a house this good. So the girls are headed to the house. They're on a party bus, right? And Wet Wet is on the bus getting it cracking. She is being the quote unquote house mama, aka bone collector, aka I'm about to start. Right? On the bus, Isis confronts Andrea about getting smart with her the night before, and they end up fighting. And in their fight, I felt like Isis won the first round a little bit because it wasn't like she really did no damage. Like, they was more so tussling than anything, but I felt like she, put a little bit more effort into it, if you want to say. Wet Wet then come out of nowhere talking about, well, Isis, Danny want to fight you too. Baby, Wet Wet was producing on that bus. Do you hear me? Okay, she wasn't even hired to do it, but she was doing it. She was in her bag. So of course now they gotta prove that they big and bad. They start arguing with one another. But Isis was like, nah, I don't want to fight you. I want to fight when we get off the bus. Because on the bus, it ain't that much room. They shaking, going from left and right. But Danny keep on pressing it, right? So Danny decides to run up on Isis. And Isis whooped Danny's. Do you hear me? She got them binks in on her, honey. I was like, that's what you get, Danny. That is exactly what you get, because you and Andrea decided to come in the house this season thinking y'all was Tia and Tamara and need to get somewhere and sit down. So then as they're fighting, Andrea decides she gonna jump in to get her little licks in on Isis. But I think her name is Jayla, I believe, which is a new girl. Cute little chocolate girl. She saw what was happening and jumped in and binked Andrea real quick. They was like, it ain't about to be no jumping. We not about to do that, okay? And I noticed in the trailer that there are going to be several situations this season where it look like some girls going to be jumping folks. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, okay? So then another newbie decides she about to stand on business. Her name is Ocean. I don't know if she white, Latino, or whatever, but she decides to call out another newbie. I didn't catch her name though. Zeus, please, in the lower thirds, put the girls' names. It's too many girls for you to just put their name on the screen one episode and expect for us to know who they are. Like, come on, yo. So it was a cute little chocolate girl that she called out because she said that she was talking too much the night before while Joseline was talking, and she felt like she was disrespecting Joseline. So they end up fighting, and Ocean did all that talking to get beat up. I was Like, girl, you can't even fight like that while you sitting up here trying to challenge people, right? They end up fighting again. And round 2 for me was a stalemate. I didn't really feel like neither one of them really won, to be honest with you. But Wet amps it up, child. She amping it up and getting everybody on that bus riled up. The cocoa skin girl asks Ocean if they got an issue with one another, right? This is the girl that jumped in to help Isis. And they end up fighting. And surprisingly, Ocean won. And I was shocked by that because the cocoa skin girl, who I think name is Jayla, she was getting her little 1-2 in on Andrea. So I did not foresee her getting beat up by Ocean. Like, Ocean had her on the ground and everything. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, what is going on? It ain't nobody that I seen thus far that's really like got some hands, like this really got some heat behind them. You know, I felt like the Chinks and Lexi girl, you know, could do a little something. You know, they was thumping a little bit, but not much. So then Wet decides to bring up Lexi and Chinks beef from the night before to get it cracking again between them two. And Chinks says that Fetish, the other girl, is fake because she was just talking about Lexi while they was back home at the club. But now that they at Joseline's cabaret, she all up in Lexi's face. Fetish was like, see, I know what type of B you is. I know what type of B you is, this, that, and the third. They get to the house and Wet is just doing too much. You know, they was drinking on the bus ride and everything. Mind you, she got on this neon green dress with no drawers underneath. She just wilding, doing the most. Like, it was cool when you was on the bus and you was getting it cracking or whatever, causing people to, you know, fight and argue or whatever. You was doing your producing thing, using your producer bag. But when she got around Joseline, she kept on doing the most. And I was like, girl, you already know Joseline don't like that ish. And you steady up here bending over, shaking your ass, talking when not spoken to. It was just like, girl, sit down somewhere. You about to get bopped. Joseline is literally trying to explain to girls what's about to go down. And Wet is bending over, dancing, hey, and doing all of this. Paris and London, Europe and France. So while the other girls get to go find their rooms, Wet is told to go back outside because you need to chill out. Mind you, she ain't got no shoes on. She drunk. It's hot outside. I know she was sweating. I know her coochie was smelling like catfish with some Andy seasoning on it. And she outside, this my show. I made the show. I get it lit. You need me, and dancing and jugging and all types of stuff, right? Just acting a fool. Inside the house, Oceans tells Joseline that she fought old girl on her behalf. And Joseline was like, oh, okay, you know, I kind of like you. Like, she's taking an interest into Oceans. And last night, on her Instagram, she had Oceans with her. So Oceans in the squad, I guess now. You know, we'll see how long that lasts. But, you know, she's in the circle. So Joseline says no fighting at the pool party that they're going to go to later on that day. No fighting. So the girls find their room. Wet outside saying she don't give a fuck and showing her coochie. Joseline ends up letting Wet back in the house. And baby, I don't know why she did that. Because I don't know if Wet had a heat stroke, but Wet said, I ain't scared of no hoe, okay? Wet is, you know, standing in front of Joseline, was like, you know I can't touch you or anything like that. And Joseline was like, help me help you. And so Wet was like, you talking about helping somebody. You said you was going to help me get my teeth fixed last season, and you didn't, so we can talk about that. And she said it with an attitude. And I was looking like, Wet, do you know who you talking to? Like, what is going on? So Joseline said, back up off me, get out my face. And Wet was like, I'm not threatening you, I'm just keeping it 100 about what you said and didn't deliver. And I was like, oh my God, like, she is gonna knock your head off your shoulders, girl. So Joseline said, I said maybe I would. Wet Wet responds, you said you was, and I have proof. I mean, with all the bass up in her little tiny esophagus, I was like, oh my God, Wet Wet has really lost her mind. Now, I saw a lot of people online saying that Joseline only brought Wet Wet back to embarrass her and to use her, and that Wet Wet makes the show this, that, and the third. I don't agree with that at all, because the show was popping before Wet Wet came on there, and it was still pop today. And to be honest with you, I don't think that she had her come back to embarrass her. Wet Wet has been an embarrassment. Like, what have y'all been watching? That lady been an embarrassment to herself and her children. So Joseline was like, bitch, you can leave, ho. And she was like, that's fine. I'll leave, whatever. But she doesn't leave. She's still standing there arguing with Joseline. So Joseline calls Andrea to get her light work, because mind you, Joseline is on probation, and you know she can't fight or do nothing. But she was like, y'all keep on pushing me, I'm gonna end up slapping one of y'all. I'm trying not to go there. So Andrea is trying to calm Wet Wet down and tell her to just leave it alone. Just leave it alone and just go outside and just chill. And so Wet Wet finally goes back outside, and she outside yelling at the top of her lungs, I'm the star of the show. I helped you build the cabaret, bitch. When people think of Joseline's cabaret, they think of Wet Wet and twerking and spreading her legs open. Now, mind you, even though the houses are far apart from each other on the sides, there's still houses across the street, and people can see what's going on. And they're in a really nice neighborhood, and she out there showing out. And the police are called. And I'm like, see, this is why she put your ass outside the house. I felt like Joseline was 1000% in the right. She came in doing too much, speaking when not spoken to, twerking and stuff while Joseline trying to talk to the girls, you know, trying to put her 2 cents in while Joseline is talking like she the co-host. And then on top of that, instead of going outside and sobering up or chilling, you going outside showing your cootie cat to the whole neighborhood. So I didn't understand how people online was saying that, you know, Joseline was trying to play her and this, that, and the third. No, like she played herself once again. Now, as far as the teeth situation are concerned, I can't remember if Joseline said she was gonna do it or not, but at the end of the day, you don't depend on no bitch to do shit for you. Get your own goddamn teeth fixed, girl. Like, come on now. Stop. You out here showing your titties for free. Girl, you better use them titties for what they for and get your teeth fixed. Get out of here. So Wet Wet is crying to the police, talking about she going through a lot at home and it's too much and she tired and all of this, that, and the third. And I get it. We all go through stuff. But girl, you are a mess. Like, you are literally a mess. So back inside, Joseline calls the girls down to talk. And while she's talking, here go Diamond and Raven playing. Like, it's literally like a teacher in a room of kids and you tell them to be quiet and it's them two that's still talking. So she was like, look, y'all separate. I don't want to see y'all next to each other for this whole trip. If I see y'all standing next to each other, y'all gonna go home. Like, cause it's like, can y'all be adults and sit there and shut up and listen? So Joseline tells the girls, like, if anybody got some beef, let it out now, because there is no fighting later on at this pool party. So Chinks squares up immediately with Lexi and they fight again, child. And I felt like they both was getting it in from what I was seeing, but we'll see more of it next week. But baby, this season is really good so far. I'm really loving season 1 of Joseline's Cabaret Texas. I feel like the cast is bringing it. Joseline is bringing it. And I was truly shocked at Wet Wet's behavior and how she was stepping up to Joseline. I liked it though, because it's like, you know, you standing on business, you're a grown woman, you ain't letting nobody, you know, talk to you any kind of way. But she has really let this show go to her head if she really think that she made the show. Like, girl, if you don't get somewhere and sit your little raggedy self down somewhere, like, stop. Please stop it. And then everybody online was like, Wet Wet should go on baddies. She should go on baddies. I'm like, y'all really act like Natalie gonna treat her any better. You know Natalie don't like dusty girls, and the girls on there ain't gonna do nothing but beat her up over there. So it's a lose-lose situation. Like, come on now. But I'm going to give this week's episode of Joseline's Cabaret an A. It was a great episode to me. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. Did you all think that Joseline was wrong for the way that she handled Wet Wet? Let's talk about it. Now, y'all tell me who y'all think won all the fights. I couldn't believe it was so many fights in one episode. Guys, please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you know when my videos drop. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.